In this world, the biggest threat is not always the enemy racing toward you. Sometimes it is the friend you trust most suddenly driving the other way. The fate of the furious takes a family built on loyalty and tears it apart from the inside. Dominic Toretto has always been the man who holds the line, the one person everyone believes will never turn. So when he goes rogue, steals from his own team and starts working with a cyber terrorist who wants global chaos, the shock hits harder than any crash. What follows is a story about betrayal, blackmail, revenge, and a fight to bring a brother back before the world burns around him. The movie opens in Havana, where Dom and Letty Ortiz are on their honeymoon and trying to enjoy a rare stretch of peace. Even here, though, Dom cannot ignore a problem when it lands in front of him. His cousin is in trouble after falling behind on money owed to a local racer named Raldo. The debt means losing a valuable car and a lot of pride. Dom sees a way out. He agrees to race Raldo for pink slips, but because his cousin car is badly damaged, Dom has to rebuild it on the spot with scraps, instinct, and nerve. The Havana race sets the tone immediately. Dom takes a broken car, turns it into a rolling fire hazard, and still drives with the same calm confidence that has defined him since the beginning. The streets are packed, the spectators are wild, and every corner feels like it could tear the car apart. Dom wins by pushing the machine beyond reason, then avoids humiliating Raldo by giving him his dignity back. It is a perfect Dom moment. He races hard, but his code still matters more than the victory itself. Right after that, the movie changes direction. A woman approaches Dom in the street and introduces herself as Cypher. She is calm, controlled, and impossible to read. She shows Dom something on a phone, and whatever he sees hits him hard enough to wipe the confidence from his face. The movie does not explain it yet, but it is clear that Cypher now has something powerful over him. That quiet encounter is the moment everything begins to break. Soon after, the crew is brought together again by Luke Hobbs, who now works with government agencies on high-risk recovery missions. He recruits Dom, Letty, Roman Pierce, Tej Parker, and Ramsey for an operation in Berlin. Their target is an electromagnetic pulse device stolen by dangerous operatives. The mission looks like classic teamwork at first. The crew moves fast, drives hard, and works together with the kind of rhythm that makes them feel unstoppable. Then, right when the job is nearly finished, Dom turns on them. He forces Hobbs off the road, steals the device, and drives away while the team can only watch in disbelief. It is not a misunderstanding, and it is not an accident. Dom made a choice and nobody can understand why. Hobbs is arrested after the operation collapses, partly because the official story makes him look responsible. The rest of the crew is left stunned. Dom has betrayed them, and none of them know what could possibly be worth that kind of betrayal. Hobbs is taken to prison, where the movie throws two forceful personalities into the same cage. In the next cell is Deckard Shaw, the same man who hunted the crew before and nearly destroyed them. Hobbs hates him, Shaw enjoys provoking him, and the tension between them turns the prison into a pressure cooker. Before that conflict can explode too far, a covert operation steps in. Mr. Nobody returns, now joined by a younger partner often called Little Nobody. They break Hobbs and Shaw out because the situation with Dom and Cypher is too dangerous to ignore. Mr. Nobody explains the problem clearly. Cypher is one of the most dangerous cybercriminals in the world. She can hack systems, manipulate information, and use technology like a weapon. More importantly, she now has Dom working for her. Nobody believes Dom suddenly stopped caring about his family, which means Cypher must be controlling him through something deeper than money or ideology. To stop her, Hobbs, Shaw, and the rest of the team have to work together whether they like it or not. The crew reunion is tense in a completely different way from the old days. Letty is hurt and furious. Roman feels betrayed on a personal level. Tej tries to stay practical, but even he cannot hide how shaken he is. Ramsey understands the scale of the cyber threat, but she also knows Dom is not acting like himself. Hobbs pushes everyone toward action. Shaw is the wild card because nobody fully trusts him. He is there because Cypher has crossed into territory that interests him, and because his own score with the past is far from settled. The truth about Dom's situation is revealed in pieces. Cypher is blackmailing him. She has Alina Neves, the woman Dom once cared for deeply, and she has a child Dom never knew existed. The baby is his son. Cypher is holding both of them captive, and she makes it clear that if Dom disobeys even once, they die. That is why he turned on the team. He is not chasing power. He is trapped in a cage built out of fatherhood, guilt, and fear. Cypher next sends Dom and her crew to New York to steal something even more dangerous, the nuclear football carried by a Russian official. This is where the film leans fully into chaos. The team tries to intercept Dom before he can complete the mission, and the city becomes a war zone of technology and speed. Cypher hacks hundreds of parked cars, turning them into a swarm that floods the streets like a metal avalanche. Vehicles fall from garages, crash through intersections, and box in anyone who gets in the way. It is one of the biggest sequences in the series, and it works because it visually shows how much power Cypher has. In the middle of that madness, Dom faces his own family on the road. Letty, Roman, Tej, and Ramsey all try to stop him, but he still refuses to hurt them unless he has no choice. Even while appearing to betray them, Dom keeps protecting them where he can. He escapes with the nuclear codes, but his face makes it clear that each step deeper into Cypher plan is costing him more. The cost becomes brutally real when Cypher decides to prove she controls everything. Alina is brought in front of Dom and their child, and Cypher forces him into a moment of helpless horror. She kills Alina and leaves Dom with the child still alive but completely under her control. It is one of the darkest moments in the movie because Dom is not just being manipulated anymore. He's being broken. From that point on, his mission changes inside. He no longer just wants to protect his son, he wants Cypher to lose everything. While Cypher believes she owns him completely, Dom quietly begins laying the groundwork for a countermove. Earlier, he made contact with Magdalene Shaw, the mother of Deckard and Owen Shaw. It seemed like a strange side scene at the time, but now the reason becomes clear. Dom knows he cannot rescue his son alone. He needs someone willing to go where the rest of the team cannot. That secret plan starts paying off when Deckard Shaw and his brother Owen launch their own mission against Cypher. The Shaws board her plane in mid-operation and begin fighting through her people to reach the baby. These scenes add a different kind of energy to the movie, because Deckard, once the enemy, is now charging through armed guards with a child carrier in one hand and aggression in the other. Meanwhile, Cypher is moving toward the true endgame. She wants control of a Russian nuclear submarine hidden at a remote Arctic base. With the nuclear codes in hand, she plans to seize the submarine, trigger international chaos, and place herself above governments by making the world fear what she can do next. To get there, she sends Dom and her forces onto the frozen battlefield, with the rest of the crew chasing behind in an attempt to stop the launch before it becomes irreversible. The final act on the ice is where all the threads collide. Hobbs, Letty, Roman, Tej, Ramsey, and the others race across the frozen sea while the submarine tears through the ice behind them like a metal monster. Cypher believes Dom is still hers, but the moment Deckard secures the baby, the whole balance shifts. Dom is free to act. He turns on Cypher in the middle of the operation, taking out her men and rejoining his family at the exact moment they need him most. The crew is stunned, but there is almost no time to process it. The submarine is active, missiles are in play, and the frozen landscape is collapsing into fire and wreckage. From there, the movie becomes a full-scale survival fight. Roman keeps the mood alive with panic and humor. Tej and Ramsey work desperately to stop the missile systems. Letty fights with the same fierce focus that always brings Dom back to center. Hobbs uses brute strength in entertaining ways, proving again that he can turn pure force into a battle strategy. Dom takes on the central task. He lures the submarine into firing a heat-seeking torpedo, then uses his car to redirect it away from his team and back toward the submarine itself. It is exactly the kind of impossible move these movies love, but it lands because it feels like Dom doing what he always does at his best. He puts himself between danger and family, then drives straight through the middle of the impossible. The submarine is destroyed in a wall of fire and ice. Cypher escapes before the final explosion, slipping away in the chaos and keeping the door open for future trouble. But her plan is ruined. The world is safe, the team survives, and Dom family is finally out from under the worst blackmail it has ever faced. After all that destruction, the movie ends in the most important place for this series, around a table with food and sunlight. Dom returns to New York with Letty and the rest of the crew. Brian and Mia are absent, now living the quieter life they earned, but the family feels their presence. Then comes the emotional final reveal. Deckard Shaw arrives carrying Dom's son, safe and alive. It is the final proof that the secret rescue plan worked, and it also shifts the strange new relationship between Shaw and the crew. He is not forgiven for everything that came before, but he has done something real and meaningful. Dom introduces his son and names him Brian, honoring the brother who is no longer on the road with them but still part of the family in every way that matters. It is a small moment, but it gives the ending heart. After all the hacking, explosions, betrayals, and global threats, the story comes back to what it was always about. Family is not just who fights beside you. It is also who lives on in the choices you make after the fight is over. Fate of the Furious works because it takes the one thing the series always treated as unbreakable, Dom loyalty, and puts it under maximum pressure. Instead of turning him evil, the movie shows what happens when his love for family is used against him. That choice makes the story bigger than a simple betrayal plot. It becomes about how far someone will go to protect a child, how pain can twist even the strongest person, and how family can survive even when trust is shattered for a while. By the end, Dom comes back not because anyone forced him to, but because he never truly left. Every move he made under Cypher was shaped by the hope that he could save his son and still find his way home. And when the smoke clears, that is what makes the story land. In this family, the road can twist, the world can turn upside down, and enemies can come from anywhere, but home is still the place they fight their way back to.